You guys, it really doesn't seem like it's been that long since we've had a conversation about the Milwaukee Bucks and what they have been doing as of recently. And probably why it feels like this is because it has literally only been 2 weeks since our last video about them, where essentially we discussed what we have seen out of the Milwaukee Bucks so far this year and if it's a possible coincidence to what we've seen in the past. And honestly, to answer that question as the days go on, the Milwaukee Bucks continue to prove more and more that the answer is yes. But the one thing about what we've seen from them so far this year is that in all reality, this was not how it was supposed to go. I mean, when you think about any team coming off of an NBA championship that is also retaining the majority of their roster, there is absolutely no reason why a team like this should have been hidden under the radar of the media for as long as the Bucks have this season. And the more I think about this, especially with the Bucks' recent surge back to the top of the league, I also think that not everyone realizes this team has been deceiving the NBA over the course of the last couple of months. One sec though, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NBA video. Love you guys. And if you haven't yet, believe me, there is no time like the present, because according to my numbers, over 95% of you guys coming back to watch the content haven't even subscribed yet. So for any of you that do, thank you so much. But let's get into the current situation of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I know this can be said for a lot of different teams at different points in the season, but after waiting almost the entire 2022 season, the Milwaukee Bucks can finally say that they are a completely healthy team. Well, I guess you can say it is the second time all year, as the Bucks were missing their starting big man in Brook Lopez following an injury after the first game of the season that has set him out until now. And for anyone who has watched this team while they were missing Brook Lopez as opposed to what he has been able to do since his return, it has been without a doubt crystal clear the impact he has on this team and what he is able to add to this rotation. Whether it be because of his rim protection, his catch and shoot availability, or even another option to run the pick and roll, you cannot deny that this team looks completely different with Brook Lopez. And even with the absence of Brook Lopez possibly being the most deceiving aspect of the Bucks this season, they are seemingly rolling into the playoffs with a fully healthy bench for the first time as well. And if you're unfamiliar of what their bench will look like, it will consist of players like Pat Connaughton, Serge Ibaka, George Hill, Jordan Nwora, Wesley Matthews, and saving the best for last, they will now once again have Bobby Portis coming in off of their bench, who I will remind you is coming off putting up some of the best numbers of his entire career when starting in Brook's absence. So when we're looking at the options that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have coming off of their bench in a playoff series, I am very confident when I say that this might be the best backup unit that any team will have to offer. But what's even more deceiving about what the Bucks are doing is that even though they do have what seems to be pretty solid depth throughout their rotation, is that in reality, when it gets down to the thick of things, they're not even going to use this entire rotation. They have been for almost the entire year. And why I think this is due to both the fact of Milwaukee's failures and successes over the last couple of years. For a quick example, prior to the Bucks being the reigning NBA champions, their strategy was not only to have a deep bench for the regular season, but it was to run that exact same rotation to the T in the entire postseason. And then I don't think it was a coincidence that last year when the Bucks shortened their rotation to 7, sometimes 8 total players in a game, that they eventually found their way to holding the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the year. So with this being said, and a deep bench that the Milwaukee Bucks have been running for the entire season, don't be surprised in the slightest once we get to the postseason that you will only see players coming off of the bench being Bobby Portis, Serge Ibaka, Pat Connaughton, and sometimes George Hill for backup point guard minutes. So I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen, this is just what I think is going to unfold from what we've seen in the past. So if you have a different opinion on what you think they're going to do, please let me know in the comments. But nonetheless, I think it's safe to say for Milwaukee that tried and true, the shorter rotation the better. But the thing is that this isn't even the last place where the Bucks are trying to fool every other team in the league. Because again, as we mentioned previously, if you've been watching the Milwaukee Bucks post All-Star game, they look like a completely different team. And possibly the biggest aspect in which they do is through the play of their big three in Khris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think through their play in general, it has definitely gotten noticeably better as the months go on. But what has stood out to me about this team more than anything else as of recently has undoubtedly been the big three's ability to ramp up their play when they need it most, specifically within the fourth quarter. Now, I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but the big three's scoring ramp up when it gets down to the clutch as of recent has been on a completely new level. And these numbers might not seem like anything crazy, but I'm telling you right now, all three of them are atop some of the best players across the league. Also, another area of this team's game that has been pointed out by coaches and players time and time again to be below their expectations has been their effort and play on the defensive side of the ball. And say what you will about their defense, I know it is probably below average as to what they put up in recent years, but if you want any proof as to what this team will be capable of on defense when it really matters most, we simply once again will just have to look at the fourth quarter numbers. Because if we want to take a look at the defensive rating the Bucks have put up quarter by quarter in every single game since the All-Star break, you can see that in the first 3 quarters combined, the Bucks look like one of the worst defensive teams in the entire NBA. But if we just wanted to focus on the fourth quarter alone and what we see out of this team, they would be labeled as one of the top 5 defenses across the board. If you want a concrete example of giving your effort when it matters the most, I think the Milwaukee Bucks have been living out this situation in almost every aspect of their game for the entire 2022 season. And if you thought their defense somehow actually got worse, I think with a defensive player of the year, a proven two-way star, 2 additional solid defenders, and rim protection like this, that a team's occasional defensive woes will be the least of their concerns once they hit the playoffs. But again, from what we've seen as of recently out of the reigning NBA champions, I think it's about that time for people to start putting them a little bit higher on their radar than they have as of recently. Anyway, that's just what I had to say about the Milwaukee Bucks, but now I want to hear what you guys have to think about this team and what they're doing. So please let me know in the comments, how far do you see the Bucks going in the 2022 postseason? And on top of that, what team do you think poses the biggest threat to the Bucks repeating? Also though guys, again, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course subscribe while you're down there. I mean seriously you guys, brand new NBA videos every single week, and we got the postseason right around the corner. I'll just say it again, you do not want to miss out. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate all of you more than anything, you all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.